everybody, we here at Dead Meat want to voice our full support for the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes, because without writers and actors, we wouldn't have all the movies that we love to talk about.
James and I both came from working class union homes, so we know that when rights aren't given, they have to be fought for.
We spoke to a SAG representative to clarify how we should proceed while supporting them. They said to fulfill any previously agreed to sponsorship contracts, so that means that we're going to stick to the original kill count schedule through the end of August.
After that, and immediately on the podcast, we're not going to be covering anything made by AMPTP Studios until the strike ends out of solidarity. We're still going to be putting out stuff, but it's going to be not struck work such as indie movies, foreign films, and possibly other kinds of media.
You can find more information about all of this from the links in the video description, and if anything changes, we'll let you know. In the meantime, support the strikes and be good people. Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yes, that's right, Winnie-the-Pooh, the bear. This is a horror movie of him. Most people know Winnie-the-Pooh, the pantsless honey fiend, from the Disney adaptation, which includes a bunch of animated films, including a crap ton direct-to-video, a handful of television series, some video games, and of course, a children's music album by Kenny Loggins? Wait, what? Point is, everyone knows that big ol' Pooh. Thing is, Disney didn't create that big ol' Pooh. They licensed the character in 1961 from the estate of A.A. Milne, the English author who did in fact make that Pooh. Pooh first appeared in Milne's 1926 book, illustrated by Ernest Shepard. In 2022, that book fell into the public domain, meaning anyone could create their own adaptation. It couldn't be a riff on Disney's version, since that's still under copyright, but an original interpretation that maybe skates just legally close to Disney's version? Fuck it, fam, do it up! That's how we got this horror movie, written and directed by Rhys Frake Waterfield. This dude's a British filmmaker who's made a bunch of no-budget horror flicks in a short span of time, none of which I've seen before, and I probably won't be watching them after this. Listen, y'all know I love bad horror movies, but only when they're sincere. There's something about unpolished filmmakers earnestly trying to make a movie only for their efforts to come up short. This is not that. This is a cheap attempt to capitalize on a well-known name. It's an empty bag hung from a recognizable hook. It's a low-effort money grab. It's clickbait horror. Still, and I always want to say this, I will give respect to the filmmakers for successfully making a movie on a micro-budget. This is way more of a movie than I've ever made, and hey, you might like it. But I didn't. It's got awful lighting, questionable acting, pointless scenes, and a nonsensical screenplay, which I could maybe excuse if it were fun to watch.
It's intended to be fun.
Well, it's not. Aside from maybe one or two humorous nods, the use of Pooh and Piglet as the movie's monsters is completely wasted. They shamble around like any average horror killer, joylessly murdering a bunch of screaming attractive women. It's not a loving send-up like The Mean One, or self-aware and sappy like the Banana Splits movie. It's the type of horror movie that makes people dismiss the genre. All it's got going for it is a handful of decent kills. So, you know, let's get... Sorry. Shit. Hold on, I forgot something. 1 second. I'm sorry I'm late, everybody. Now then, it's time for me to tell you the tale of the data brokers versus today's sponsor, Incogni. Once upon a time, there was a man known far and wide as the Count of Kills. He was a man of mystery and intrigue. But then, one fateful day, he learned he had a problem. Turns out his name and personal details were on a list being sold by data brokers. Whew, I know, scary, right? And not long after, a stranger had found his home address and phone number. He knew something important though. Brokers had to take his information off their lists if he requested it. The only problem was, there were so many lists. How could he possibly find them all? And when would he have the time to contact them? After all, he was booked solid with kills to count. And in the meantime, he was only ending up on more lists. Even his family was getting calls from strangers with requests for kills for him to count. Seriously. Luckily for him, he found powerful allies. Incogni! All he had to do was sign up for their service and give them permission to take him off broker lists. Then bam, they went to work. And from the dashboard, he was able to see every list they found his information on and track the status of its removal. Yay! That's right, Ditto. Soon, the Count of Kills could be a man of mystery once again. And you know what, kids? That Count, he was me.
Mr. James, how can we use Incogni?
Oh, that's easy. You can sign up for Incogni by going to incogni.com/deadmeat and using promo code deadmeat to get 60% off. That's incogni.com/deadmeat and use code deadmeat, or click the link below to take your personal data off the market. All right, let's do this bullshit. The movie begins with an animated intro, like Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Remember that? A way too talented narrator tells us that a young boy named Christopher Robin once came across some creatures in 100 Acre Wood.
Crossbreeds, who some would describe as abominations.
The gang's all here. Owl, Rabbit, Eeyore, Piglet, and Pooh Bear Winnie-the-Pooh bear. Too bad the actual movie only features 2 of them. Eventually, Christopher left for college, and the crossbreeds got hungry and ate Eeyore, turning them into Rick and Morty characters. They swore vengeance on humans in general, and Christopher Robin in particular. Oh, and they also swore never to talk, because this movie can't afford masks with mouths that move. 5 years later, Christopher's back to the woods with his fiancée, wife? He refers to her as both. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He takes her to his childhood hang, which has a bunch of honey pots and a grave for Eeyore. With his tail pinned to it? Okay, that's pretty good. Mary doesn't believe in his childhood stories about the crossbreeds, but you'd best start believing in crossbreeds, Mary, because here is one. They hide from the unseen Killer Kid's character until the movie Hereditary's into night. That's when they try to creep away, only for Mary to get... Oh, Piglet! Piglet kills Mary by strangling her with a chain until her neck breaks. Why is her eye so wide open all of a sudden? Hell of a death face there, Mare. After Mary dies, Christopher cries, and then gets cornered by these evil guys. Crossbreeds. Even though Pooh and Piglet are obviously just dudes in rubber masks. And the masks weren't even custom made for the movie. Production just bought the already made Honey Bear mask from Immortal Masks. Come on! Ugh, they drag him away in another animated sequence, and then burn him in a pit? Except not really, as we'll see later. Nah, I ain't even gonna do it for this one. Main girl Maria is wondering how she wound up in this movie.
I'm not really sure how to explain it.
Yeah, me neither. She's living in fear because of a recent stalking incident, so to heal, she and her friends take a trip to a secluded cabin in the woods. It's 100 Acre Wood, of course, and the location is one of the best parts of the movie. This is Ashdown Forest in East Sussex, the actual forest that served as inspiration for 100 Acre Wood. A.A. Milne lived nearby and would go for walks there with his son Christopher Robin. It's really cool that they shot the movie there. I appreciate the effort of them filming in the real-life 100 Acre Wood. The cabin the girls are staying at is also a great location. So good job, movie. You have good locations. Let's see, who did locations? Oh, Rhys Frake Waterfield. Okay, the writer and director. Good job with locations, dude. Maria's friends include her bestie Jessica, here to help Maria with her healing, Laura, a party girl who loves posting on Instagram, and Alice and Zoe, a couple who are kinda sorta fighting. A deleted scene shades in the conflict a little bit.
You've always been gay, and I've only ever had relationships with guys.
But that scene got deleted, so, you know, fuck it. They're supposed to be joined by Tina as well, but she gets lost and winds up stepping in Pooh. A chase ensues, and Tina hides in an old garage, but Pooh follows her, finds her, and rips her shirt off. Okay, of course this movie's gotta show you some titties. Pooh kills Tina by slamming her face against some machinery. He does it until her head is nothing more than a red pile of slop. Then he fargos her into a wood chipper while the gushing CG blood splatters onto his mask. Maria tells her friends about the stalking incident she had, where she woke up to find a dude trying to undress her.
What the hell? I never knew that happened to you.
Yeah, why would you, Zoe? She's telling you for the first time. Anyway, this backstory's pretty fucking useless. Moving on! Apparently the power to Pooh's place is provided by Piglet's perpetual pedaling. Gotta keep the lights on if you want to keep a prisoner, which is what they're doing with Chrissy Robs, despite that drawing of him burning in the intro. Bump that idea. Now he's tied up. It's great. And quick, get more slobber on that mask. Oh, Pooh Bear, do you even realize how dumb you look? Because it's pretty dumb, dude. Okay, yeah, I guess you know. Seems like the crew knew too, and often laughed about how Pooh looked on set. They even had to reshoot some chase scenes and close-ups because the wide shots looked like, this. At least Pooh's actor Craig David Dowsett had a good time. The bear throws a remake Jason tantrum, then grabs Eeyore's tail and uses it to whip the shit out of Christopher Robin. It's a good moment that actually makes use of the movie's premise, even if the tail is magically on the wall now and looks different from when we saw it on the grave earlier. Pooh continues to torture his former pal by showing him the skeleton bones of his dead fiancé wife. Then he uses Mary's guts to make some kind of of blood honey, which then showers down on the captive Chris. My apologies to your childhood for showing all of this. While the bear's out pooing in the woods, he overhears some music. It's Lara having hot girl hot tub time. Her selfies capture the bear in the background, but that's not enough to make her leave. She literally just goes back to chilling in the tub until, wouldn't you know it, Pooh and Piglet arrive. They ask her if this rag smells like chloroform, and her limp body is an answer in the affirmative. Lara wakes up tied up on the ground, looking like a pig about to get roasted. But Piglet ain't got fire, he's armed with a sledgehammer instead, which he doesn't use. He just holds her down as Pooh slowly drives a car over her head. Yep, we're watching Winnie the Pooh drive a car over a woman's head, because that's all this movie is. A whole bunch of attempts to make you say, wow, that's crazy. The other girls follow Lara's scream and find her headless body lying beneath the car. If that's not enough of a warning sign, the crossbreeds spell it out for them with a Jordan Peele movie written in the Your Next font. They see Pooh and a swarm of bees outside their door and peeping in the window. Oh, look at that, his nose and ears are moving. Good job, movie. Zoe and Alice arm themselves with knives, the only weapons available.
I've got a gun!
Never mind, Maria has a gun. Glad she suddenly remembered that she owns a fucking hand cannon. I don't know why, or honestly when these girls split up, but now Alice and Zoe are in the pool room? Damn, this cabin's dope. Doesn't take long for them to get attacked, and while Alice is knocked out, Zoe's knocked into the pool. This little piglet starts fishing with his chain, but when it doesn't do the trick, he attempts to recreate that awesome scene from Strangers Prey at Night. Frank Waterfield said that movie was a direct inspiration, as was Wrong Turn, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and above all else, Halloween. Of course, compared to the Prey at Night version, this scene is lacking more than just Bonnie Tyler. It still results in a kill when Piglet busts open Zoe's face with his hammer. Alice watches his weirdly low-velocity follow-up swings, but passes out as Piglet approaches her. Maria and Jessica find Zoe's body and watch as Alice gets abducted. Piglet, what are you doing, man? You ain't some super spy? They follow the crossbreeds further into this trash fire of a movie, because they wouldn't want to miss Pooh stuffing his face with honey, would they? Or doing a horror head herky-jerky. Man, is that face being moved in post? It looks so weird. Pooh spends the rest of the night dripping all over Alice's face and smacking her in the mouth. When morning comes, Maria and Jess find and untie Alice. Oh, wait, it's still night? What? What the fuck is this lighting? It looks like sunlight. On their way out, they hear a scream, which leads them back to the captive Christopher Robin. Props to composer Andrew Scott Bell, by the way. He's working way harder than he needs to.
Please, help! Come on! Come on! Stop now!
He even went the extra mile and used a violin that had been used as a beehive. Like, the instrument itself had honeycomb and bee larvae all up inside of it. He does a great job with the music, and I love seeing people appreciate their cool jobs.
I'm just, sitting here thinking how fortunate I am that I get to do this for a living.
The ladies also find and free a character named Charlene. She was ever so briefly in an earlier scene that otherwise served no purpose. She had her husband with her, but even though a bunch of wikis say that she mentions he was killed, I could not hear her say anything of the sort. It actually infuriated me trying to find that dialogue during an editing live stream.
I don't know what the fuck she's saying. What the fuck is she saying? Did she say something about her husband? What the fuck? God damn it.
So he doesn't get added to the count, since who knows, maybe he ran away or some shit. The gals drag Charlene outside, where she sees what the crossbreeds have done to her face. Uh-oh, is she about to go hostile? Nah, instead of jumping in front of a train, Charlene grabs the gun and calls Piglet out to confront her. Woomano a cerdo. Or cerdito, I guess. She pulls the trigger only for nothing to happen, and then she takes a few steps back into Pooh. He knocks her down, seasons her face with honey, and this character is killed just as quickly as she entered the movie, with Piglet eating her face. Real nice fireside meal. Maria and Jessica flee with Pooh following, while Alice stays behind and knocks down Piglet with his hammer. She somehow manages to tie him up and gets revenge for her girlfriend Zoe by killing Piglet with a couple of hammer swings to the head. Her victory is short-lived, however, as Pooh returns to kill her with a brutal and slowly delivered machete stab through the mouth. It's a little bit Jason and a little bit Michael, since her body's left pinned to the pole. Good stuff. Zoe was played by Amber Doig Thorne, who did a lot of the movie's promo circuit. I get it, she seems sweet and enthusiastic, and had been in another movie made by the same people called Return of Krampus. In fact, a lot of this cast had been in previous films Frank Waterfield produced, like Pterodactyl, Curse of Bloody Mary, and a bunch of other movies I'll probably never watch. Now we're back to Maria and Jess again, cause wait, what happened to Christopher Robin? Didn't they find him like 10 minutes ago? Whatever, the girls wind up on a road where they're found by some dudes on loan from a Rob Zombie film. The blokes see Pooh Bear and take it upon themselves to extinguish this endangered species with a crowbar. It doesn't work.
You're tough. I'll give you that.
They wail on the bear with their bats, bars, and bottles in a scene meant to be like the mob attack in Halloween Kills. Similar to that beatdown, this bludgeoning doesn't deter the killer, as they give a bloody Arthur fist clench. Pooh brings his hand down across Colt's face, bitch slapping him to death, though he waits to die until he can get to the truck and traumatize Maria and Jess. Pooh's next victim is Tucker, who loses his hand to a judo chop and his head to a big ol' sized Pooh boot that crushes it against the ground, then stamps it out like a cigarette? Holy fuck!
Holy fuck!
Yeah, that's what I said. Pooh makes quick work of Logan, slitting his throat open with a machete swipe. The final dude, John, attempts to run away, but I guess Pooh Bear can control that swarm of bees? And it looks like they kill him. Kinda. I mean, it doesn't look good. Maria finally decides that it's a good time to drive away / run over some Pooh with the car. But the Pooh ends up in the back of the truck, then on the roof in a direct homage to Michael Myers in Halloween 4. Maria gets the Pooh off her windshield by slamming the brakes. A blackout occurs, and afterwards, she watches as Pooh drags Jess from the car. She's killed with the lamest decapitation I've ever seen. She's just dragged away, and then he's holding her crappy looking head up. At least there's a decent shot of him carrying it, and I like when he chucks it at the windshield, so I'll call this a net neutral kill. Pooh drags Maria from the car and prepares to murder her by headlight. That's when Christopher Robin finally re-enters the movie and slams another vehicle into his former childhood friend. Pooh is crushed between fenders, while Christopher and Maria are left banged up and bruised. They try to limp away as Pooh Bear lurches back to life, pushing away a car to continue his pursuit. Oh wow, an explosion! Didn't expect that on this budget. And actually, that explosion wasn't in the original ending. Blood and Honey was originally shot in just 8 days with $100,000 for its budget. Things changed when production stills started to go viral.
The distributors apparently gave the production company more money because obviously the film had gone viral, so they were like, right, maybe we should make this a little bit better.
Thanks to internet buzz, the filmmakers were given more money and reshoot days on 2 separate occasions. That resulted in this car explosion and a big fire behind Pooh, which Frank Waterfield said was meant to evoke the Michael Myers firefighter fight. Chris tries to talk Pooh down from killing Maria, promising to stay and be his friend. But Pooh's only got 2 words for him, and it ain't suck it. It's oh bother. Yeah, wait, you left? You have him say one thing this whole movie and it's not oh bother?